Hey guys, can you give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me? Give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I think you guys can hear me, I think. We'll see. I hope so, because okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Jackson Tabasco. Hey, y'all. Happy Friday, everybody. What's going on? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. What's going on, everyone? Hi, everybody. What's going on? Okay, couple of things. I switched cameras, even though I feel like I'm looking a different way. Hold on, let me see what it looks like. Let me see what it looks like in my phone. Oh, okay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. It's giving something. It's giving. Okay. As long as you guys can't see, I think we're good, right? We're good. Okay. Hey everybody, what's going on? I think it's giving a lot of my forehead, so I need to not look down too much, which why would I be looking down if I'm okay. All right. Let's see. It's kind of a dress. It's like a tunic type thing. I don't know. It's not. I feel like it was on a hanger like a week or two too long. So it's giving a little something. I had to put something on for the graduation. I didn't want to wear black. I feel like growing up in Jersey and my first year of college, I went to school in New York, but growing up top, like we were a lot of black, even though black is a whole vibe and it's a whole aesthetic. I don't know. I sometimes I just don't want to wear all black. I just don't. And I was feeling like I was going in that direction today. And I was like, I don't want to wear all that. So because it's spring and Farrah had a really pretty like white and blue florally dress on, and I wanted to be spring summery, and so thank you. Thank you very much. You guys know I love florals. I love ruffles is what it is. Anywho, so while I was at the graduation, of course, why wouldn't the verdict happen while I was at the thing, right? So okay, so really what, like, she graduated from 8th grade. So it was an 8th grade promotion ceremony. They tried to preserve graduation for when you're actually graduating from high school, but it was a graduation nonetheless. She finished middle school, and go us. Thank you. And so it's a happy day. I'm happy for her. We're gonna get to enjoy some summer vacation, some pool, some self-care, some nail appointments, some sleeping late, some cooking, all of the things that we want to do, some sports, some summer sports. It went fast, but it was a bitch. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This year Mom was involved in Booster Club. You guys didn't know that. But I was involved in Booster Club. I was slinging chips and hot dogs and sodas at baseball games, soccer games, track and field tournaments, volleyball, um, making that coin for the school, okay, for the athletic program. Sis was busy, and I'm so glad it's over. I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad it was over. Um, let's see. Okay. So what happened? So if you guys didn't know, now you know. So Maxwell did get he was found guilty. We talked about this yesterday. I'm not surprised. I know you guys were in good hands of the media, and I'm sure who didn't hear, you're getting ready to hear now. But we have a little bit of an agenda. We're gonna dip, listen to the verdict. We're gonna go drop by. We're gonna go to a couple press conferences real quick, and then what else Antoine is still missing. His aunt is still on Instagram. Antoine dropped off another Instagram. He's still a fugitive on the loose. And the other guy who is still quiet, I think he's still missing. The one who was waiting to be sentenced for double murder. So they're okay. Let me just double check. We just got home not too long ago, and I was trying to rest my mind for a minute. So I didn't have a chance to get all my research done. Then Nesto has court on Monday, right? But I saw something on the docket, and I don't know if I'm sure anything on the docket means something. Let me check my email real quick and see if I got an email, because I did send a note. I was trying to be nosy, but I don't know if I got a notification back or not. There was a I don't see. I'm checking my mail real quick to see if I got a response for my request. I don't want to say until I get a response. All right, let's see. I'm gonna check the docket again today, see what's going on. But there was something on the docket that said like a conflict and attorney conflict, but I don't know if that means that they actually need to you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put anything out, because far be it for a girl, far be it from me for putting out any bad information. I just saw that there was an attorney conflict, and I don't want to draw too much into what I don't know for sure, and why there is a conflict that was filed to the docket. If someone has a conflicting case or hearing or something. And I was like, would that not just be exactly just what we would expect for this case, since it seems like it's never going to be on track? And maybe they are trying to get him to just plead guilty, which, that's his business. It's not our fault. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys real quick before we get into everything else. Why don't we just talk about that? Does anyone know when the sentencing is? They scheduled it for 2 months. We'll get to that in just a minute, Amanda. Give me just a minute. Let's do first things first. Since we have something we'll be able to talk about again at the end. Let's talk about that in a minute. Okay, Lex put it out August 15th. Okay. So yes, they scheduled it for 2 months ahead. So they have a 60-day window for the pre-sentencing exam that they need to do. We'll talk about that in a minute. Like I said, Nesto has court. So let's talk about that very quickly, and then we'll pivot, okay? Girl. Okay, let me get back to where I was. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. How's everybody doing today? Did everybody hit the thumbs up for me? I'm sure. Okay, let's talk about that in a minute, guys. Let's see. Okay. All right, this is Nesto's jacket right here. Who is calling? Ew. Ew, can you please stop calling me? Ew. It's like, ugh. Okay. Is that what Fran does when people call? Yes, that's what she does, because don't call me the minute I go live, okay? Okay, Nesto. Let's be clear. We're talking about Ernest Williams at this moment. To not confuse anyone, where's some Nesto on the screen? Do I have anything Nesto related? Girl. Well, let me do that. All right, guys, really quick. Nesto has court on Monday, right? Now I've been looking for updates on this because I happened to notice this the other day. You see where it says 6-3 notice, and it says notice of attorney conflict. Sometimes attorney conflict could mean that Someone has another case at the same time, that there's something else going on. The only thing scheduled right now is Monday. So it could be anybody. Doesn't mean that it has to be Roberto. It could be Will Wooten. It could be that something is scheduled at the exact same time. So they could either be notifying like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit late. So maybe call, if you can call the docket later, or there's some sort of emergency that's come up and I'm not going to be able to be in court. What the document says, I do not know. I was not able to, you can't click on it at this moment. Like, see, there's no document. Normally, if there's a document, it's going to say view document, and there's nothing there. Someone emailed me, and I think I messaged you back, and I'm, you know who you are. Hopefully you're watching right now. I think I messaged you back. And I did. Girl, okay. Sis says she got her notepad and pens. Okay. Thank you, boo. We have a bougie gang sis who messaged me. Sis, I'm going to, it's 9:30, Judge Dunaway. It's at the Fulton County Courthouse, the main courthouse. I'm sure you can find it. But sis says she has a notepad and pens. Okay. So we will have somebody in the midst. If I feel like if court was going to be canceled, one would hope that they would document it accordingly. So people, but they've canceled court before. Now, don't take this that I'm saying they're canceling court. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I saw something, so I'm saying something, right? This is the RICO. This is the RICO docket. And as we saw, when there was court, this was the transcript that they posted when he was supposed to be in court on the 30th, and there nothing happened. And then there was some drama with the media, and they posted the hearing transcript. We talked about that at length. We read the transcript, all of the things. The very next thing on the docket is a notice of attorney conflict. What is it? The document is not able to be clicked on. There's no document there for us to know what's going on. So it would make me think it was Sean, because Sean is about that type of time of posting stuff and not allowing us to see it, because he likes to play. Okay. Now, does it mean it's Sean? I'm not saying it is. I don't know who it is. I just know that something was posted on 6/3 and there's court on Monday. That's it. That's all. That's all I know. I'll check the other docket real quick just so we can pivot off of that once and for all. Am I in the, okay, I was about to say, am I in here? Hold on. So I can pivot off of that once and for all. Let me go to the other docket real quick to see if there's anything else posted, and then we'll move on to other matters, okay? Let's see. I hope everyone had a good day today. I'm sorry, you know, we were stuck in court for 2 weeks, y'all. But I'm so glad we did it, because I feel like there was a lot of really interesting information that was shared regarding this particular case. So okay, so here's the sex crime Nesto's grape case, and this is the indictment. We saw this, right? We looked at this, the 5/20/2025. They're supposed to have a plea and arraignment on what? Monday. Okay, right? Monday. And we're just gonna see how it goes. We're gonna see how it goes, because no matter what, keep in mind, even though it's the same judge and there's an attorney conflict, as long as it's not Sean, there's two different district attorneys. So we'll just see how it goes. But I saw something, so I'm saying something. Okay, are we clear? Fran did not say court was canceled. What did I not say? I did not say court was canceled. I just only said that there is a conflict, right? Right? Okay. What else is going on? I do not know. I did send a request to see if I could get a copy of whatever was filed, and I have not received that yet. Okay, I have not received that yet. So, sis goes based on what I know. And if it's not on the docket, I can't really talk to you about it until I know that I know that I know that I know, right? Okay. If you're just now coming in, make sure to hit the thumbs up for me. Okay. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Okay. All right, let me check my agenda. Oh, okay. So let's talk real quick about Maxwell. Maxwell life sentence Anderson. Maxwell is facing a life sentence. He was found guilty on all 4 counts. Let me pull up his docket real quick, okay? Let me pull up his docket because I know that the court reporter over there in Milwaukee, they're on it over there, okay? Let's see. They are on it over there, and I'm sure they have updated. Okay, sentencing hearing 8:15 at 10 a.m. Safety building. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, we're over here on Maxwell real quick. Okay. Pre-sentencing. So what was that? 6/6. That's today. Verdict. Okay. Just so we'll watch it real quick. It's not long. Maxwell S. Anderson in court, in custody, attorney D. Cotton, attorney Jason Findling, in court, attorney Ian Vance Crazon and Megan Newport in court. Okay. Case in court for verdict. Parties appeared in room 620 in the safety building at 9:18. Jury returned and their 4-person bought in verdicts, which were then read in court, in open court. We, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell S. Anderson, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. We, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell S. Anderson, guilty of mutilating a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information. We, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell S. Anderson, guilty of arson of property other than building as charged in count 3 of this information. We, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell S. Anderson, guilty of hiding a corpse as charged in count 4 of the information. Court polled and discharged the jury at the hour of 9:22. Jury is dismissed for the day. Court granted state's motion for the judgment on the verdict. Court denied defense's counsel for motion for judgment notwithstanding the verdict. Court ordered entry of judgment of conviction. Court ordered defendant remanded into custody of the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, which he already was anyway. Court ordered pre-sentence investigation without recommendation. Court ordered case adjourned for sentencing hearing, branch 36, sentencing hearing scheduled for August 15th, 2020. He will get life in prison. There's just no way. The city is absolutely egreged, outraged. When you see Sade's mother, sis had to hold it together as best she could throughout this process. Ma'am was visibly, when you see her walk, how frail she is. I don't know if she was always very slim, but I can only imagine she's probably getting by on like nutrition, drinks, vitamins, medication. She's probably getting by on bare basics at this point. Ma'am needs help getting down the stairs. She's physically distraught. This whole situation has taken not only a mental toll, but you can see it's taken a physical toll. Her mom's probably no older than us. Her mom has got to be maybe in her 40s, maybe in her 40s. I don't give her anything more than that. Ma'am has been through significant trauma, and it's really horrible. Sade's mom right here. This is the first time I've seen her mom even muster a little bit of a smile in all of this time. That's grandma back there, mom, baby girl is right here. Sade's sister, Adriana. This is the assistant council, the spokesperson, this lady in the suit. And then there is a state representative right here off to the side.
Stop playing with your baby Sheena. Yeah. They thought who's gonna win? Girl, bye. Tell them stop playing with you.
I don't think I think if you spent any time watching this case at all, there is nowhere in the state of Wisconsin that anyone thought that Max Anderson was going to win this case. I think it was a loser case from the beginning. I think that Attorney Cotton did the best he could with what he had, which was absolutely nothing, and a client who disrespected and murdered a young woman and did it very sloppily and very badly, and he's set to go to prison, but he needed to have a lawyer or else it would have been a shit show pro se case, right? So good, he had attorney. I think Cotton showed he couldn't handle that business. Like, he was no competition for those prosecutors. Those prosecutors were there to handle business, and they had every damn camera in the city of Milwaukee and Cudahy and everywhere else. I don't know if they got on the news and said, please check y'all's cameras. I don't know if people just said, you know what, let me go check my camera. They had the police out there, they had everything going, and they did what they needed to do. They collected all of that information, and that body of evidence was the equivalent to a smoking gun. Most of us who are here now sat here and watched it from beginning to end, and baby, they went through a very tedious amount of information. And if you sat there and watched all of that, there's not that much coincidence in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, that many oopsie daisies and really could not happen to one person, but it is that person, right? So let's listen to Sade's mom and see what's going on here. Okay. She's just expressing her gratitude to the people of Milwaukee and all of the things.
Comments. I remember Sade is forever, she will be forever remembered as an angel, a light worker who has touched so many souls, so many lives in the Milwaukee community. She is our hero. She is forever leaving an imprint. She walks in her own path, her own light. She solved her own case. My baby solved her own case. That's how I raise my kids. We don't give up. We are fighters. I demanded justice. I stand tall. I stand affirmative. Sade will continue to walk with me daily and right beside me. Please continue to support us by walking in how you move every day. Like, live by your principles. Live in your true spirit. That's how Sade is remembered, from every job, from every stranger, from every person she touched. Her energy is just, it will be forever with us. Please continue to support the foundation, SadesVoiceFoundation.com. Myself and Adriana and all of the Sade's Voice angels and light workers that have been standing beside me, the whole team. We will definitely be advocating for all of the other missing, murdered.
Can I just say, if you're listening with headphones, I'm sure you can hear what I'm hearing right now. The birds the amount of birds. Did you guys hear yesterday in court the seagulls were outside trying to disrupt the case? And it's these birds. Can y'all hear what I'm hearing? But yeah, Sade's mom, I'm sure she has been eating very little and just very troubled by this case. So I'm sure it has taken her appetite, but hopefully this will bring the family some peace and she can get back her, some of her fortitude, get herself back a little bit and be able to rest in the memory. And it's unfortunate. There's nothing that's going to bring her daughter back. So, you know what I mean? Where there's not even, can't even really go there because I can only, I'm sure there's nothing that will bring Sade back other than the memories, the good memories, and the justice, and seeing Maxwell go to prison. He's been in jail, go to prison and spend the rest of his days, however long they may be, because for what he did, he could end up meeting his ultimate price behind the prison bars. You never know. So yeah, it's very sad, but she's got a lot of support behind her. She's going to ask they're going to ask some questions. So we'll listen to that and then we'll pivot to the other press conference and then we'll move on to a couple other things because there's been so much going on, y'all.
All of the other individuals in the community, I appreciate everybody in the community that's been standing beside us and by us. I know that there's a lot of other crime victim families in the community that have been outreaching me, and I have to take it one step at a time. I have to get my baby's justice first before I can be able to help maneuver and support any other crime victim families. But that's definitely going to be our...
She's talking about her foundation. They've started a foundation and helping missing and murdered. But she said, of course, the first thing that they needed to focus on was Sade before she can get into helping anyone else. And then also she just needs a minute. She says she has not had a minute to really grieve her daughter's passing because immediately they had to go into, they had to go into fight mode. Yeah, we saw, so Milwaukee's right there on the water, which was heavily a part of the case, too, which we saw that. I never knew, which I guess I just never thought about it, but yeah, that Milwaukee is like right there on the water, but it looks like a really pretty city right there on the water. Any city over there by the water is always going to be nice. Plus, I guess it's flanked by a river.
Our mission, that's how I'm going to carry on Sade's, her voice. Definitely, I'll be working with Representative Sheila Stubbs. Thank you so much for being here. We're pushing for the missing and murder task force. It's mandatory. The state definitely needs it for our BIPOC women, for all women. And just allow us time to just kind of grieve. I haven't really had a day to grieve since April of last year. Me and Adriana have been nonstop all day, every day. We my mom, my family, all of us, we don't give up. So that's what I can say about Sade. Go hard for your kids. If anybody has learned anything from this situation, please talk to your kids. Please communicate. Takes a village. See something, say something, and we'll be working to do many things. Just continue to follow us and support us, and my mission is for crime victim families.
Ms. Sheena, are you able to finally have some relief tonight after fighting so hard for justice, knowing that this man who murdered your baby is going to be spending decades in jail?
It's definitely it's a weight. It's such a heavy weight. It's never gonna be the same. Even for Adriana, like my mom, that's our best friend. That's my baby. That's my angel. And there's no such thing as justice. Like, we don't have her, but we all. I mean, please understand how you treat people and how you put out energy and how you recycle it into the community, because I guess that's what keeps me knowing that it was the relationship that I had with my daughter, and it's nothing but positive energy, and the goals and the things that she was able to accomplish in her 19 years is just so phenomenal. And I have that peace in my heart knowing that I did the best possible job as a mother, and I will.
Now, they did ask her a question. It's coming up, and I could not make it out. They asked her, did she have any comment on somebody, something?
I will forever have her close in my heart and spirit.
Sheena, do you have any words for Maxwell Anderson?
I don't know what she said. Can you guys hear that? She said, Sheena, do you have any words for... Hold on.
Close in my heart and spirit.
Sheena, do you have any words for Maxwell Anderson?
No.
Sheena, do you have any words for Maxwell Anderson?
What
No.
is...
No.
Words for Maxwell Anderson?
Forever have her close in my heart and spirit.
Sheena, do you have any words for Maxwell Anderson?
No. No.
No, she didn't. Do you have any words? No, she didn't say Maxwell Anderson. She said Van Coyance or something.
No.
Sheena, do you have any words for Maxwell Anderson?
No.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter, but she just said no. I put it on, well, let me see. I put it on CC on my phone, but it didn't give me anything.
Do you have any words for Maxwell Anderson?
No. No.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite memory?
CC can't get it either. I didn't hear Max Anderson. Do you have any words for, it didn't sound like Max Anderson. Okay, maybe she did say that. Okay. Why would someone ask her that? Who would have any words for him? Who would have any words for him? I don't know who I don't know. It was weird. It was interesting. I didn't know who it was. I would find it crazy that somebody would ask, do you have any words for Max Anderson? Like, for what? What would be the words? Why'd you kill my daughter? Where is the rest of her body? That I would have some words from Max Anderson, starting with, where's the rest of her remains and why did you kill her? That would be me. That would be me. So I don't know. I don't know why somebody would ask that question. Maybe I'm not hearing it because I'm just kind of shocked that somebody would even ask such a question. Considering this woman's state, do you see how distraught this woman is? Why would you ask her, does she have any words for that man? What kind of words should she have for him? Like, it kind of upsets me that she even asked, like, if that is what she said. I couldn't make it out, but it was kind of like, girl, what kind, where's the rest of my daughter, please? Do you mind telling us that? I don't understand. Anyway, let's pivot real quick. These are the people of Milwaukee who brought the justice. And let's listen to a little bit of this.
15 minutes. Several speakers, starting with District Attorney Kent Lovern. We'll close out with Sheriff Ball and have a few people in between. And with that, I will, one other thing, a little bit of housekeeping. Verdict may have been read, but this case is not over. So you can ask your questions. Not all of them may be answered, but ask away and we'll do what we can. With that, District Attorney Lovern, please.
Thank you, James, and good morning to all of you. First and foremost, I want to express our deepest sympathy to the family and loved ones of Shade Robinson. They've incurred a devastating loss that obviously occurred in a horrific manner, and they've had to carry this loss in a very public way now for over 14 months. And we are hopeful that this verdict brings some amount of solace to them. I want to express gratitude to the jurors who served in this case. We obviously are gratified by their verdict, obviously, because it is a just outcome in this case. But we are equally grateful for their service over 2 weeks, for their attention to this matter. And let's remember, jury service is among the highest level of civic responsibility any of us can be asked to take on. Juries are relied upon in the American justice system more than any place else in the world, and this is where members of our community have their highest amount of authority as they consider and decide cases. So we're very grateful for the jurors who served in this matter. I'm obviously very grateful to the superb law enforcement investigation that took place in this case. It was led by the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, and that team led by Detective Joanne Donner. Incredible work done here. As you heard through this trial, this was a very complex matter that took place in an investigation that spanned the entire county, and so required a great deal of meticulous and dedicated work. The Milwaukee Police Department played a big role in this investigation as well. We're grateful for their efforts. Assistant Chief Nicole Davila is here today, and I also want to express gratitude to all of the other law enforcement officials at the state, local, and federal level who participated in this investigation. It is important to know law enforcement in this county works very well together. That doesn't happen every place. It happens here in Milwaukee County, and for that, all of us in this community can be grateful. And finally, I want to thank our trial team. You know, the best prosecutors have a sharp mind and a big heart. And
Hold on. I know he didn't have a tear in his eye. Are you kidding me? Maxwell, I know Maxwell wasn't sitting there with a tear. And look at that, trying to muster up a tear. Do you see this mess? After what you did, didn't they have in the police? Didn't we read in the police report that there was a confidential informant that came forward to give that there was someone who came forward? We read that the first day before we got into the trial. In the police report that there was a confidential informant that came forward who was a friend who Maxwell had. I know it's in here somewhere that there was a confidential informant that came forward that identified that he was going to take Sade out. He met her and he had a plan and executed the plan. But they didn't talk about that in the trial. I don't know if that person was scared, because if this guy is a homicidal maniac, who wants to give evidence and they say it's hearsay? Maybe they thought it was hearsay. I don't know. But it was enough for them to continue to stay on his track and get enough evidence to be able to convict him without it. But I cannot believe that this man is sitting over here with what looks to be a tear in his eye. Do you see this foolishness? A mess. He better save that for his sentencing day.
Ian Vance Curzan exhibits both of those at the highest level. Everyone saw that on full display during this trial. But what most people did not see was the hundreds of hours Ian has given to this case over the past 14 months in preparation for what happened in the courtroom over these past 2 weeks. Thank you to Deputy District Attorney Megan Newport, who also assisted with this case. She's a leader in our office, on our executive team. She has had an exemplary career already, supervising dozens of people while managing a caseload of some of the most violent crimes in our county. And I appreciate her efforts here. And I also want to personally thank Sarah Martinez, our victim witness advocate. Sarah is one of many such advocates in our office who have the challenging but rewarding task of guiding hurting members of our community through a justice system that can be complex, confusing, and unkind. And as she always does, Sarah did an exemplary job in this case, and we are all grateful for her work. Many others in our office contributed to the success of this prosecution, as with all of the other investigative agencies here. We all know these cases, especially the complex ones like this one, require a team effort across the board. And I can tell you, I've been part of this community for many, many years, and I'm grateful for the cooperation that we constantly see day in and day out through all of our public safety partners, and this case was no exception. I'm grateful for everyone's work in this matter and for the outcome today. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Ian Vance Curzan.
Good morning, everybody. I'm kind of tired of talking, but I just want to repeat something Kent said, that this is, while we are satisfied with this verdict, our hearts go out to the family of Sade Robinson. This is a tragedy, and I'm just hopeful that this verdict can be a step towards healing
Yes, we did read the verdict. I'll show it in just a minute. We read it, so I didn't show it, but let me show it to you guys. Okay. Because maybe some of y'all missed it. We went to the docket and read it. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. This was let me see. Hold on.
Ask you to step into the hallway right now. Understood? Thank you.
CF 1692 appearances.
Ian Vance Curzan and Megan Newport appear for the state along with Detective Joanne Donner.
Max Anderson in person with Jason Finley and Anthony Cotton. Good morning.
You know what? He's probably done this before. And I'm not saying his crimes before were perfect, but there might be some women out here that are not in touch with their families on a regular basis. Look how the Gilgo Beach murders type thing happened with, a little bit kind of off the grid. This might not have been the first time he's done this before. And there could be people out here who are missing. Their families know they're missing. And for whatever reason, they're just not, they may not be attached to his murder. They could be homeless. They could be sex workers. They could be young women who are not in touch with their families on a regular basis. There could be any number of reasons, why, some people are very much loner introverts. They've rejected their families, things like that. So no one's really checking for them at this moment until, months go by. It's like, we haven't talked, or weeks go by. Sometimes for some of us, it's days go by. Some of us, it's hours that go by. Some of us, unfortunately, it's longer, and that prolongs out the situation. Anyway, but yeah, he might have this. This is probably not his first time, and I feel like the prosecutors alluded to that. If in fact there was this confidential informant, it was in the police report. It stated that. I believe that 100% this was not his first time. I believe it because for him to articulate that to this acquaintance of his very matter-of-factly, and I don't even know. It's crazy.
Judge.
Good morning, everybody. Is there anything to address before we bring the jury in?
No.
State? Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Let's bring the jury in.
Okay, so this is the verdict, guys, okay?
Let's recall it.
Calling State of Wisconsin versus Maxwell Anderson, case 24, CF 1692 appearances.
Ian Vance Curzan and Megan Newport appear for the state along with Detective Joanne Donner.
Good morning, Anthony Cotton and Jason Finley with Max Anderson. Good morning again.
And good morning to all of you. At this point, I have received verdicts. They are in a proper legal fashion. Who is my foreperson? May I have your name and number for the record?
Juror number 1, Marilyn Sunstein.
And you did sign these 4 verdicts and date them today?
I did.
Thank you. I will now read them into the record. As to count 1, the verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. As to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of mutilating a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information. As to count 3, We, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of arson of property other than a building as charged in count 3 of the information. As to count 4, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of hiding a corpse as charged in count 4 of the information. At this point, I will poll the jury. What that means is as follows. I'm going to have the first juror stand in the back row on the far right. I'm going to ask you your juror number, and I'm going to ask you, will I stand and your juror number? 45. Juror 45, were these and are these your verdicts? Yes. Thank you. Next juror. Juror 23, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. Juror 29. Juror 29, were these and are these your verdicts? Yes. Thank you. Juror 47, were these and are these your verdicts? Yes. Thank you. Juror 3, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. Juror 42, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. Front row.
Number 5.
Juror 5, were these and are these your verdicts? Yes. Thank you.
Number 1.
Juror 1, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you.
Number 52.
Juror 52, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Juror 40.
Juror 40, were these and are these your verdicts?
This is my thing. If you had an alibi, then he should have sat his behind in the jury in the box and spoke to where he was. You didn't have an alibi, sir, because you did all the things they said you did. And in a court of law, it was proven. So it's not even alleged anymore. He is a convicted killer. He's a convicted killer. And all the things that they have accused him of, according to the jury and according to this, the verdict, he did all of it. So if he felt that he had some information that they just did not have and you guys are not getting it, at the end of the day, all of that evidence, and you guys had the nerve to not even put on one security guard, not one character witness. They had a damn girlfriend that put you at the scene of where her body was found. The car you were driving, her car that night, went past another one of the dump sites. Like, it was just too much evidence. And the fact that they didn't put up one little bit of nothing, not a security guard, not a character reference. His parents didn't get up there. I'm sure they spent a cute coin trying to defend him. It's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, sir, you are done. You're done. You can't sit up there and be mad. Your lawyer didn't put on a defense, and it sounds like you weren't participating in helping him defend you. Girl, yeah, he didn't have anything to say because he couldn't come up with anything. Anything that he could have said, they probably would have found a video. I mean, we live in a day and time where you can't even go walk the dog and not get caught on 10 cameras. You know what I'm saying? And some people might feel that's a good thing, and some people might feel like it's a bad thing. To me, it doesn't bother me because I know I'm not out here causing mayhem in my community. So if there's 10 cameras to prove I did what I said I did, then that's fine. You know what I'm saying? So if he would have had some sort of a bogus alibi, it would have been able to be chopped down immediately because he's lying. And everybody has Ring cameras. There's security cameras for businesses. The city has cameras. They've got license plate readers. There is no way to do anything anymore without being detected because they will come and find the information. No, they're not sitting and watching and monitoring us because there's too much of us. But at the end of the day, if they can get a date and a time, baby, they can run that camera back. They can run it back. They can put in a report and they can find, oh, license plate such and such was on the streets. We'll find it. And they feed it right to the system, and the license plate reader will show where your car was. If you say you were on the interstate, they can validate that, or they can say, yeah, no, but there was a bus. There was a bus on some street that caught you over where you said you weren't, right? So Maxwell didn't say anything because he couldn't say anything because he did not. There was nothing he could do at this point. I'm sure his lawyer was like, if your alibi is not something verifiable and that can be checked out, let's not even do it. There's a reason why they didn't put on a defense, because they didn't have one. He absolutely did not have one, and he was hoping that they put enough reasonable doubt, but their reasonable doubt argument sucked. With all of what they have these days to validate your whereabouts, unless you want to be embarrassed, don't sit up here and lie, okay? Don't sit up here and lie, because it's going to even be more embarrassing for you. And then they'll get you they'll add a perjury charge to you to be extra petty. Okay? Okay.
Thank you. Juror 21, were these
Y'all,
and
I
are
can't wear
these your
braids
verdicts?
anymore. Not for a while.
Juror 36, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. State, are you satisfied with the polling?
Yes.
Defense, are you satisfied with the polling?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then at this point in time, your service is complete. You are done for 4 years.
Okay.
At this point, you are free to talk to anyone you choose or speak to no one. It is completely in your discretion at this point in time.
Okay, let's do this real quick. I'll provide the links to everything that we're showing. So if you guys want to go back and watch the complete videos, you guys can. Let's check this out real quick. Hold on. Girl, they caught Waldo outside looking real pressed about trying to get to his next client.
Trial just wrapped up. Maxwell Anderson guilty on all counts. Can you just talk to me about what's going on in your head right now?
Quite a bit. I just saw Max.
Tell me if you think there's some shade, because the reporter is like, do you think there's anything better you could have done?
In the jail, obviously, he's hanging in there. It was a tough case. It's been a long 2 weeks. I mean, there's been a lot of side issues that came up. There were innumerable things that developed during the trial and problems that came up outside of court. So I'm looking forward to getting my mind off of it for a little bit.
So you said you recently spoke with Max. What exactly did he say to you?
He's wanted to know about the sentencing process and what that looks like, and I explained it to him.
Okay, and you said there were a lot of problems that occurred outside.
He didn't want to know about an appeal. He wanted to know about the sentencing process. Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's accepted his fate.
Of the courtroom. Can you just talk to me about that?
Well, sure. I mean, there were threats that were made against me over and over and over, and for the job that I was doing, and we worked hard to give our client a good defense and did everything we could.
And can you just talk to us about...
If that's what you did to work hard to give a good defense, he had no defense. Sir had absolutely no defense. The defense sucked.
About you taking on that job of being Maxwell Anderson's defense attorney?
Sure. Every time I represent someone, it's because a family reaches out.
Right. He knew his client was guilty. There was nothing that he could do. There was nothing, because if a lawyer, if you know your client is guilty, then he can't, in good conscience, sit up there and allow him to lie or try to fabricate something. All he could do was try to knock down what he thought he could knock down. Even if he knows that their evidence is valid, he could still try to inject reasonable doubt, right? And he wasn't good at doing it, because the circumstantial evidence that they had was able to stand up. Even it was more of like a collective of information that stood together, but he wasn't really able to refute enough, because the breadth and the body of the amount of circumstantial evidence they had was like absolutely incredible. It wasn't like just 2 or 3 things. They had like damn 200 exhibits.
Out to me, and they asked me whether I would be available to represent their loved one. I meet with families, I discuss the case with them, and I take on every case with the same vigor and effort that I can do for everybody, regardless of what the circumstances are. In our system, everybody deserves a defense. Everyone's entitled to a defense, and I work hard to make sure a person gets that.
And when it came to this particular defense, do you feel like you put your best foot forward when representing Maxwell Anderson?
Yes, we did everything in our power to cross-examine every witness the state had and show where we thought the holes were in the state's case. Obviously, Max made a decision not to testify, and so we respect that decision because it's his to make, not ours.
Do you think that decision not to testify in the long run hurt him?
I don't know that it would have moved the needle one way or the other, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of problems that develop when a person takes a stand. There's a lot of unknown variables. They get cross-examined. And so I understood why he made that decision. And hindsight's always 20/20, right? You look back on things and say, could have done this, should have done that. That's human nature. But at the time, certainly that seemed like the right decision, and still does seem like the right decision in my mind, given what could have happened on the stand.
Is there any point in this case where you felt like it was lagging, or you felt like I could have done better?
No, I mean, I felt like every witness, we had a game plan on how to address.
Was there any
and
point that you just felt like, well, damn?
Quite honestly, the evidence was everybody heard the evidence, right? He sat here for 2 weeks, so that's the state's case. Obviously, the jury didn't find there to be big problems with it, and you don't choose your facts. You get the facts you get the evidence you get, and then you try to work with that. So, you can't change that.
Well, one big question I did have for you: do you believe Maxwell Anderson is guilty?
My personal feelings don't really matter, and I'm not going to answer that.
Was that ever a topic that came up when you and Max conversed?
We don't really focus on. I mean, our conversations are
thank you, India.
Obviously private. So regardless of what we talk about, I can't get into that.
So what is next for you in this particular case, you and Max?
We'll sentencing in August, so we'll be here with him in August to try to get him through that process, and then we'll turn the matter over to an appeal lawyer.
And that's kind of what I wanted to go into, those plans of appeal. Can you just talk to me about that?
I don't do appeals, so I do some appeals, but it's not my bread and butter. It's not the focus of my practice. So we'll have a different lawyer that'll evaluate everything.
So after this, you said you're just looking forward to just getting this out of your head. Can you talk to me about the toll this has taken on you?
I mean, it's took a toll on everybody, right? I mean, I think it's everybody who's involved in this process, it takes a toll on. I don't think that the toll it took on me is any greater than anybody else who's had to work on this case, from law enforcement to certainly the victim's family. It took the biggest toll on. So I don't think my gripes probably pale in comparison to what they've been through.
What do you think the key piece of evidence was for the state in this case?
I think there were a number of key pieces of evidence, but I mean, that'd be a better question to ask the prosecutor than me.
Although I imagine you're probably not their favorite person right now, but have you been in contact with Sade's family at all?
No. But I told them in opening that my heart goes out to them, and it does. I mean, we have a job to do to defend our client to the best of our abilities, but I'm not inhuman. It's horrendous, right? I mean, it's horrendous what happened to Sade. I think everybody agrees on that, regardless of where you fall in this case. And so it wouldn't be appropriate for me to reach out to them, but obviously my heart goes out to them.
Oh, one thing I do want to ask about the witness that was brought, the tenant that stated Maxwell Anderson. We, as viewers, expected that to be a great witness for you guys, the defense, because he actually lived there. Did that go the way you planned?
Yeah, I thought he was a great witness for us. He didn't hear anything. There was no commotion, no struggle. So it was basically what I expected it to be. The jury didn't find that to be particularly persuasive or impactful, though.
What do you think your strongest point was in this case?
I don't know. I mean, you have to look at each individual witness and identify flaws with what they did. I mean, I thought there was a lack of DNA. I thought there was a huge point, a lack of being able to say how she died. What were the circumstances? How was it intentional? What did Max, if it was intentional, what was the means by which he did it? How did he do it?
This is my thing. There's no way humanly possible that your body just falls apart like a puzzle, okay? The fact that he just said that is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There's nothing that's not intentional about someone's body being in pieces all over a city, okay? There's nothing unintentional about somebody's breast being found in a park, okay? It's absolutely insane that he would say something like that actually could happen. Just like, oh yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay. That's absolutely insane. Why he would, like, a grown person who's highly educated would say something so stupid. Somebody wanted her dead. And the bottom line is that his client is the last person to have interacted with this woman, and that's it. That's all. We've talked about it at length, so I'm not going to even go further deep into it, but that's stupid. That's stupid. I'm sorry. That is stupid. How she died, that's for your client to be able to deliver the goods and deliver the rest of her remains. Be kind and just say, I put it in a trash can, and maybe the people at the dump might be able to one day locate it, because stranger things have happened. Remains have been located, sometimes, even though it's been over a year at this point. But if it was in that knapsack, at least they would know to be on the lookout for it. Even though a year of trash is piled on top of it, it could have hit an incinerator, could have been any number of things, but at least be kind enough to say, okay, I'll cop to it, X, Y, and Z. There is no way that your body just falls apart. Like, that's ridiculous. That's stupid. There's no way that her car just ran over to the other side of town where she did not live and you did not live, and there was no reason for her to be over there, and set one of her prized possessions that they said she absolutely took a lot of pride in the ownership of her vehicle. So she took very good care of her car. She loved her car. She needed her car to get to school and work. Why somebody with the sense God gave them would set their car on fire, abandon it, and have it set on fire on another side of town? Like, it's just stupid. Okay. I don't know what happened with Lori Daybell. I'm gonna have to figure out what happened today, but what happened yesterday is that her third trial started, and prosecutor warns Lori Daybell is opening the door to previous. Hold on a minute. Okay, let's listen to her opening. I don't know if you guys want to listen to Trina K or not, if any of you guys are following this. Lori Daybell has been a complete shit show as usual. Like, no, this isn't going to be a surprise for anybody. She's been a complete and total shit show. She was sick earlier in the week and did not want to participate in her trial. She said that she was not well. She didn't feel like she could effectively do her job since she's a pro se attorney. The judge got a little bit rough with her and told her, basically, you're gonna handle business. And she reported to court, and I think this was yesterday. Let's get into a little bit. We are certainly not going to park here all day, but I do want to hear the opening. So I just feel like she's not going to say anything worthy of, like, it's going to be ridiculous. And the reason why I say that is, yesterday I was getting dinner ready, and she couldn't get a word out. And Trina K was like, I object, Your Honor, she's testifying. She's not, like, it's a mess. So now Brandon does do some testimony. Brandon does testify yesterday. Brandon Boudreau, which is the complaining witness. He's the victim in this whole thing. This is an attempted murder case. Keep in mind, we don't have to shed a tear for Lori Vallow. She's already got 4 life sentences, so no worries here. I'm just a little intrigued because we did just watch a whole entire trial where she racked on another guilty verdict, and here she is back again in front of the same judge, the same prosecutor, and they don't. I do think that they just want this to be over. Let's listen to a little bit of what Trina K has to say, but I really want to hear Lori Vallow's opening, and I think she only goes on for about like 10 minutes, but she gets stopped like every single turn. I wonder, did she question Brandon Boudreau also? Did she have any questions for him? I didn't get that. Okay. Maybe she did. Okay, interesting. All right, let's see what's going on here. This is the prosecutor, and she's getting up to introduce the case, which I think it's always interesting to listen to. She did today. Okay. She did today what? She questioned Brandon Boudreau today. She's got herself removed. That's what I heard. I hadn't got there yet. I'm behind, as you know. Is she permanently removed, or was she like suspended for today? How are you going to be pro se if you can't participate in? Okay, I'm gonna have to get all the way caught up, but let's hear what's going on here, okay, guys? Lori is on trial for attempted murder of her nephew-in-law. So her niece's husband. Why would anyone kill their niece's husband? The lady's crazy. She's already got 4 other life sentences. Don't even ask. Just go back to Fran says she's already got 4 murder convictions, okay? 3 of which she has life sentences and 1 of which she's pending sentencing for. So I think that's going to answer the question right there. Like, what was the master plan behind trying to kill this guy? Baby, go back to 3 life sentences and she's pending another. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Girl, she thought she was going to continue to play sick today. Okay. All right, let's hear the opening. Bear with, this is going to take, I know some of you guys are, y'all are, it's going to be rough, but it's going to be okay. This will be about 35 minutes. It's not long at all. We can even speed it up if they talk slow, okay?
A Jeep Wrangler. The Texas license plate.
Hold
No
on.
rear. A Jeep Wrangler. The Texas license plate, no rear tire and dark tint, was parked right up next to Brandon Boudreau's driveway, idle. At 9:13 a.m. on October 2nd of 2019, Brandon Boudreau returned home. That Jeep had been idling there already for over an hour. When Brandon turned onto his street, he immediately noticed this Jeep because it was parked so close to his driveway. The back of the Jeep was facing towards him, and he immediately also noticed that there was no rear tire. He saw a Texas plate on the Jeep, and then he saw that back window of the Jeep open up, a rifle barrel come out and point at him. And then bang, he heard a shot and his window shattered right next to him. Brandon hit the accelerator and he took off. He turned the corner and drove a block or so away and stopped, calling 911. He talked to the operator and told them where this Jeep was going. As Brandon was speaking with the 911 operator, he had no idea that that bullet had struck his car just a few inches from his head. You'll learn that in the back of that Jeep was this defendant's brother, Alex Cox. He had been lying in wait with a rifle for Brandon to return home. This defendant, Lori Vallow Daybell, the woman seated over here, had loaned her Jeep to her brother so he could drive it to Arizona. So he could be in the back of that Jeep with very dark tint that no one could see through and wait for Brandon to return home. The goal of this defendant and her co-conspirators, to shoot and kill Brandon Boudreau. So let's talk about October 2nd and the weeks leading up to that. All of the actions that this defendant did in furtherance of that conspiracy and the premeditated murder of Brandon Boudreau. I'm going to start with a little background for you. In June of 2019, Brandon Boudreau was still married to his then wife, Melanie. You're going to learn that Melanie is this defendant's niece. You're going to learn they were very close. And you're going to learn that they both had it out for Brandon. On June 25th, Brandon and Melanie got into an argument. And Brandon learned that this defendant had told his wife that he was gay, that he had hacked into her computer, and that Brandon was trying to work with her then husband to take her temple recommend away. You're going to learn that many of the people, including Brandon and this defendant, are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And having your temple recommend taken away is a very significant event. You're going to learn and see that Brandon actually texted Lori Vallow on the 25th of June to confront her about these lies, and that she never responded. By July, just a short while later, Brandon and Melanie were seeing a mediator and proceeding through a divorce. You're going to also hear that during this time, Lori Vallow and Alex Cox lived here in Arizona. In fact, Lori lived in Chandler. You're going to hear about an incident that occurred on July 11th of 2019 in Chandler involving Lori Vallow and Alex Cox. The Chandler police were out at this defendant's residence, and they took photographs of some vehicles. One of those vehicles was a 2018 Jeep Wrangler with Texas license plates, LWD 0997. That will be very important to you. They also noted that Alex had his own car, a Ford F-150. Both of those vehicles were in Chandler in July. You're going to learn that in August through September, Lori Vallow and her brother Alex Cox moved up to Rexburg, Idaho, to be closer to this defendant's soon-to-be husband, Chad Daybell. Both of them moved into a complex at 565 Pioneer Road in Rexburg, Idaho. Lori took the Jeep Wrangler and a Nissan Rogue, and Alex brought his Ford F-150. So everyone had their own vehicles. You're going to learn that as the divorce is proceeding between Brandon and his then wife, Melanie, that they put their house up for sale, and Melanie moved out and got a rental property. When their house finally sold, Brandon had to rent a home too. And on September 13th of 2019, he rented a house at 3875 East Phelps Street in Gilbert. Brandon will tell you that his plan initially was to stay in his own house almost up to the time of the closing and then move into the rental property. You will see a text message that Melanie asked Brandon for his new address. They had children in common, so he didn't think anything of this. And he sent her the address. That was on September 17th. You'll learn that Melanie Boudreau, this defendant's niece, was the only person who knew Brandon's address, who knew 3875 East Phelps Street, and who also knew this defendant and Alex Cox. Brandon barely moved into that house before the shooting. In fact, he'd moved in sooner than he thought because Melanie told him she was going out of town and offered him the kids for an extra weekend. And so he moved in sooner and took the kids while she flew to Rexburg, Idaho on September 26th through the 29th to be with this defendant. So in the weeks leading up to this October 2nd shooting, we'll talk about all of these things that were done in furtherance of this conspiracy, starting with Lori Vallow's Jeep. You'll learn that Alex Cox searched out a place to have extra window tinting put on the Jeep. And I say that because you're going to see the photos from the Jeep in July, and you'll see there's tinting on the windows, but you can still see into it. And so on September 25th, Alex Cox took that Jeep to Dan's Window Tinting in Rexburg, Idaho, and he paid $200 to put some of the darkest tint you could put on it. You'll see those photos of what that Jeep looked like afterwards. This is the first action of this defendant, Lori Vallow, in the conspiracy, loaning her brother this Jeep and allowing him to put on these dark tint to get it ready so he can lie in wait and no one could see him in the back with that rifle. It is her first mistake, using that Jeep and tying herself to the conspiracy and to the premeditation. Also on September 25th, you're going to learn that Lori Vallow and her accomplice, Alex Cox, went to the Walmart Superstore in Idaho Falls. You're going to learn that's not far from Rexburg. And they purchased a burner phone. Now, a burner phone is a phone that you don't have to put your subscriber information to. And so how do we know that Alex Cox was there and Lori Vallow was there? Well, you're going to learn that each had their own cell phone, like most of us do, and that Alex Cox's cell phone was utilizing Wi-Fi inside that Walmart at the time that burner phone was purchased with cash. And you'll learn that this defendant's cell phone that was subscribed to her was utilizing cell towers in the area of that Walmart at the time that that burner phone was purchased. Lori Vallow and Alex Cox knew that he would need a phone when he drove down here, but they knew you don't want to bring your own phone. You'll be tracked, right? So they bought this burner phone so that Alex would have contact while he drove down here and away. But Alex made a mistake. Because like any other phone, you can still use a burner phone to access Google or your Gmail accounts. And you're going to learn that Alex accessed his Gmail account. In this investigation, you'll learn the police executed many, many search warrants, and one of them was on Alex Cox's Gmail account, homerjmaximus@gmail.com. You're going to learn that Alex searched for things like window tinting in Rexburg, that he searched for places to practice shooting ranges. You're going to learn that he searched different things about angles or trajectories of shots. You're going to learn that the day before, on October 1st and the morning of October 2nd, he searched 3875 East Phelps Street, where Brandon Boudreaux lived. You're going to learn that after the shooting, Alex Cox actually searched for directions on how to get away through a back road. He knew he hadn't killed Brandon. Brandon's calling 911, and so he searched for Pine Top, Holbrook, Moab, Utah, Fillmore, Utah, and eventually Idaho Falls as he made his way back through back roads. You're going to learn that the police also executed search warrants on this defendant's Gmail account, lollytimeforever@gmail.com. On September 30th, the day when her brother took her Jeep and started driving down to Arizona, she searched, quote, how to get the back seat out of my Jeep Wrangler. And she also searched a YouTube video, Jeep Wrangler JK rear seat removal, how to DIY YouTube video. This defendant continued to be a co-conspirator and to aid her accomplice, Alex Cox, by searching how to remove that back seat of the Jeep so he could better lie in wait to shoot Brandon. This was the defendant's second mistake, and more evidence of her being a co-conspirator and the premeditation. This defendant also, on September 30th, began aiding Alex by becoming his alibi. You'll hear from Nick Valance, who is an FBI agent who deals with cellular analysis, that around 4:30 p.m. on September 30th, Alex Cox's cell phone, the one that he subscribed to, moved from his apartment in this same complex where he and Lori Vallow lived to Lori Vallow's unit. And from then on, for the next couple days, Alex Cox's phone remained with this defendant. Meanwhile, that burner phone from that Idaho Falls Walmart on September 30th started moving towards Arizona. You will hear that on October 2nd of 2019, at about 8 in the morning Arizona time, about an hour before the shooting, this defendant created the alibi. She had Alex Cox's phone call her phone to make it look like he was still in Rexburg, Idaho, instead of in Gilbert, Arizona. That fake call lasted about 24 minutes. Both of those cell phones were using the same cell tower in Rexburg, Idaho. This was Lori Vallow's third mistake. More evidence that she was a co-conspirator and of that premeditation.
That's embarrassing. I had to stop on that one. That's embarrassing. Okay, so they tried to do the good old cell phone trick, like Max Anderson trying to text Sade in the morning, knowing good and well what the deal was. So Lori Vallow called Alex, and they're pinging from the same cell phone tower. That is so embarrassing.
To aid her brother in this shooting of Brandon Boudreaux. So how do we know, though, that Lori Vallow's Jeep drove from Idaho to Arizona? Well, we're going to start by learning about what we call LPRs, or license plate readers.
Danny, happy birthday, boo.
You will learn and see a photo of Lori Vallow's Jeep in Arizona on October 1st of 2019, up near Holbrook on the I-40. You'll hear that the DEA has a license plate reader there, and they took a photo of Lori Vallow's Jeep with that license plate LWD 0997 on its way to Gilbert, Arizona. You're also going to learn that the police later recovered that Jeep back up in Rexburg, and they did a couple different search warrants on it. And what they recovered inside the Jeep, among other things, was a receipt from October 1st of 2019 from Mesa, Arizona, the day before the shooting, from a restaurant called Los Favoritos out on Power Road. You're going to learn that at the time the burner phone is down here in Arizona. You'll learn that Alex Cox was using his Gmail and Googling an address on Power Road around the time when we then see the receipt. Alex Cox, Lori Vallow's Jeep, and Alex's rifle are here in Arizona waiting to commit this shooting. Meanwhile, up in Rexburg, on October 1st, this defendant does a little more additional help. She goes to a storage unit in Rexburg, Idaho, and rents unit C52. The next day, on October 2nd, when this shooting is happening down in Arizona, or after the shooting actually, she brings her soon-to-be husband, Chad Daybell, with her. And you will see video of this as she and Chad Daybell put the rear tire and the rear bench seat of that Jeep into the storage unit. Using the storage unit for that Jeep tire and that bench seat so that her co-conspirator, Alex, could lie in wait in the back of the Jeep, waiting for Brandon to return home that morning. This is, again, evidence of that conspiracy and of the premeditation to kill Brandon. So October 2nd, the morning of this shooting, you will see that Alex Cox was Googling that address, 3875 East Phelps Road. His burner phone from Idaho Falls, Idaho, is in Gilbert, Arizona. He's using his Gmail account, and he is using cell towers around Melanie Boudreau's residence. Now, this is important because Melanie knew that Brandon had their kids. They had 4. She knew that Brandon that morning was going to have to drop off 3 of the kids at school and that they would exchange their youngest. They would meet at a park. Brandon would text Melanie, let her know he was there. She would respond, and they would exchange their youngest child. While Brandon was leaving his house to take his kids to school, that Idaho burner phone moves to his residence and begins waiting for him. Alex kept the Jeep running as he waited for Brandon to return. What Melanie didn't know was that Brandon was going to the gym after dropping off the kids, and so Alex had to wait longer. You'll hear that one of Brandon's neighbors noticed this Jeep. It's a neighborhood that doesn't have any real easy ingress or egress. You'll see a map of it. So there's very little through traffic. And so the neighborhood knows and recognizes most of the same cars. And you'll hear from a neighbor that as he was backing out, he saw this Jeep parked the wrong way on the road, nose to nose with another vehicle that he did recognize. He saw the dark tinting. He saw it was running, and he thought it just stood out as unusual in his neighborhood. It made him actually look into his rearview mirror to note it had a Texas license plate. This was about 30 plus minutes before Brandon arrived home. When Brandon got to the house that day, Alex was ready with the rifle. And we know that he was able to just lift up that back window because the tire wasn't on it. Alex fired 1 shot. Luckily, he did not hit Brandon. You will see that Brandon was driving a Tesla at the time. And unlike many cars, there's no frame around the window. The window just goes into the door, into the car itself. The shot hit the frame of the vehicle, but right where the window goes up into it. And you'll see that there is damage to the window, as well as the bullet hole into the frame of the vehicle itself, right above Brandon's head when he was sitting in that driver's seat. You'll hear that when Brandon took off, the window remained in the door, that he drove away and then eventually circled back around and went into his driveway. You'll hear that for a Tesla, when you put the car in park, the door automatically opens and the whole window just shattered out. Brandon was on the phone with 911 soon after the shooting. You'll hear that call, him actually sounding out of breath from the fear. And he waited for the police to arrive. Alex Cox, of course, is Googling how to get out of there and get back to Rexburg, Idaho. And by October 3rd, he was back there. That same day on October 3rd, you will see that Alex Cox and Lori Vallow went back to the storage unit. They removed that rear tire They removed the rear seat of the Jeep and took it with them. You will again see video of that. You'll also see that they Googled that day, news in Gilbert, shootings of Brandon, to try to find out what the police knew. How did the police figure out that this defendant and Alex Cox were involved? Well, when the police were interviewing Brandon, they asked him if he had any enemies. Who would want to do this? And Brandon told the police the only people he could think of was Lori Vallow and Alex Cox. He told them that Lori had lived in Texas and that the Jeep had a Texas license plate. And he told them about that incident on July 11th of 2019 in Chandler involving Lori Vallow and Alex Cox. And he believed this was all tied together. You'll hear that the Gilbert police reached out to the Chandler Police Department and learned about that Jeep with the Texas plates, LWD 0997, the same plate that was seen on that license plate reader on October 1st coming into Arizona. The Gilbert police learned that Lori Vallow and Alex Cox were living in Rexburg, Idaho, and they reached out to law enforcement there. You'll hear that on November 1st, police in Idaho went to 565 Pioneer Road, that apartment complex, and they saw Lori Vallow, they saw Alex Cox, and they saw Chad Daybell. They didn't see the Jeep that day. And so they went back a few days later on November 4th and saw the Jeep located near Lori Vallow's residence. Tires back on it, rear seat is back in it. You'll hear that they impounded it. And on November 18th, the Gilbert police flew to Idaho to process it. You're going to learn about GSR, or gunshot residue. You're going to learn that they processed the vehicle. Basically, they're little sticky kits. GSR is microscopic. You can't see it. So you try to collect it, and then you give it to an expert to look through it. You will hear that those kits were sent to the Phoenix Police Department and reviewed. And that
She's had a lot of trials.
Of gunshot residue were located on
Okay,
the
she's almost
kits that were
done.
tested.
It's crazy because Lori is a nut job. This should be her last one unless she goes bonkers again. But guess who's going back to court? Taylor Schabusiness. She had court this week. If we have a minute before we go, if I can pull it up, it's like another 3 minutes. She has a new lawyer. Remember, she attacked her lawyer again like 2 months ago. So that lawyer is gone. She got another lawyer who he says that he's dealt with her before. He had the nerve when they had the hearing the other day to ask the judge if she could be without restraints. I'm just like, sir, this is a lady who had to be muzzled. This is a lady who has been thrown down to the floor by 5 men. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, a mess. But yeah, as far as women who are murderous females, baby, there've been it's been a nonstop supply. Okay.
From the rear of that Jeep Wrangler. And that this is consistent with a gun being fired from the rear of the Jeep.
No, not yet.
You also hear that the Gilbert Police Department collected DNA from areas like the steering wheel, the gear shift, seatbelt buckles, and that they got a blood blot from Alexander Cox. DNA profiles were created from the steering wheel and other areas around the driver's seat. And the DNA was found to be a mixture, multiple people, but the major contributor was Alexander Cox. Again, you will hear that the police executed multiple search warrants on cell phones, cell tower usage, data from Gmail accounts, and data from iCloud accounts. You will see a map of Lori Vallow's cell phone, Alex Cox's cell phone, as well as that burner phone from that Walmart in Idaho Falls, the one that was associated to Alex Cox's Gmail account. You will hear from Nick Valance from the FBI, and he'll show you how that burner phone went from Rexburg, Idaho, down to Gilbert, Arizona, was there for the shooting, and returned back to Rexburg, and was never used again after that. You will learn that the only phone number that that burner phone called or received calls from was Chad Daybell, this defendant's soon-to-be husband. The same phone, of course, that was using those cell towers right around Brandon's home at the time of the shooting. This defendant, Lori Vallow Daybell, has been charged with conspiracy to commit the first-degree murder of Brandon Boudreaux on October 2nd of 2019. The evidence in this case will prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that this defendant conspired with Alex Cox and others to kill Brandon. She provided the means, the Jeep, she helped get the Jeep ready, and she tried to provide an alibi for her co-conspirator. At the end of this trial, the state will ask you all to hold this defendant accountable and find her guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Thank you.
Someone needs to tell her to
defense like to
stay
give an
close to
opening
that
statement
damn
at this time?
microphone. You see the difference in the quality when she stands closer. I mean, it's like, duh, but you know what I mean? Like, can people, they need to put a piece of tape and tell people stand on this tape when you come to the podium. Look at Lori acting. Oh, Lori wants to be heard. She's like, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, here we are at trial. And the judicial system can be difficult to understand at times. There are laws and rules and statutes that govern how things will proceed in this trial. You yesterday got to hear the preliminary jury instruction, so you kind of got an order of how things are going to go. In order for someone to be charged with a crime, as I have been,
Your Honor, I'm going to object to argument versus an opening statement.
I'll remind
She's
you
not
that
giving
our
her
opening
no
statement should
slack.
be a preview of what is to be expected at trial. So go ahead.
that law enforcement presents evidence that they gather, and the state prosecutors are going to present that to you.
She's thrown off
Sometimes the
now.
state charges the defendant with a crime. They have charged me with a crime, a very serious crime. Sometimes they take the allegations to a grand jury to decide if the
I'm
defendant
going
should
to
be
object
charged.
again, Your Honor. Improper
That's,
argument. Asked to strike.
Hold on.
Trina K is like, you know what? I am not playing with her this time. I gave her some slack the first time, but this time I'm getting ready to get in your ass because I'm getting this next conviction. She is really first. I just can't remember the first opening statements in the last case if they were this tough on her, but she gave her no slack on this one.
The jury should disregard that last comment. How the charges arrived here are not for the jury's consideration. The prior proceedings are not for the jury's consideration. Please proceed.
The state or the prosecution will then take the information gathered, the evidence from law enforcement, and present to you a story, a theory, their hypothesis of what happened. In this case, the prosecutor was not present during this alleged crime. The Gilbert Police Department was not present.
Wouldn't you think her advisory council would be like, okay, read that to me one more time. Okay, maybe you might want to take out this. Like, I mean, we've talked about this before. Where is her advisory council and what are they advising her on? How does she have so many mistakes in her opening statement and the state is paying for you to have help? Why is your help not helping? That's what I want to
during
know.
this alleged crime. So it is their job to fill in the gaps, make up a theory, and present it to you, the jury, at trial. This is their job. They are not witness to the actual events because they were there that
okay.
day
That
with Brandon
explains
at
it.
the house when this alleged
Thank you,
shooting
sis.
occurred. This case is about a conspiracy.
Guys, I am gonna come back later. We'll do some Nesto, I guess. We'll get caught up over there, but we'll finish this up and then we'll get caught up on some Nest like later. What time is it? 4:20? Yeah. It's like in some hours, like let's say 9-10 o'clock tonight. Okay.
And a conspiracy is when two or more people make an agreement to commit a crime. They have to willingly and knowingly participate. Conspiracy is an ancient word that appears in the Bible on many occasions. Judas conspired against Jesus with the chief priests for 30 pieces of silver.
Object to
Did she bring Jesus into this? When she said, first of all, that color is so brassy. Any of my hair people out here, that is not blonde. That is yellow. I don't know what that is, but it's bad. Is she getting ready to compare herself? Girl, compare. Is she what? Jesus.
This is being presented at trial. I'm not sure that this is a
of silver. Many occasions, they participate. It's crime. They have to willingly and knowingly participate. Conspiracy is an ancient word that appears in the Bible on many occasions. Judas conspired against Jesus with the chief priests for 30 pieces of silver.
Object to, unless this is being presented at trial, I'm not sure that this is appropriate opening.
What is the legal objection?
Well, you're arguing. The opening statement is not argument.
What I notice is you have to say stuff like, in this trial, you will see, or in this trial, I will. So you remember last time, now I said that and I remember last time she's like, you will see that this, and you will see that, you will see that, da, 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 da. You will see, she said, you will see like 50, 11 times. So maybe it's more like you have to kind of offer up what you are getting ready to present rather than sitting there doing like a monologue. You need to give a preview, like the judge said. You have to give a preview of what you're going to bring and what the evidence will show. Thank you. You're in my head. But yes, exactly. You need to, it's like a highlight, okay, the evidence will show. Yes.
I'm going to allow it briefly, but I may cut you off depending on where you're going with that.
She tried to get cute and tried to write a paper. Sis, we don't need you to do an essay on why you think you're innocent. We need you to tell the jury what they can expect from you.
Cain conspired against
She tried
his
it.
brother. This case is a case of conspiracy. The charge against me is that I conspired with my brother, Alex Cox, to murder my niece's husband, Brandon Boudreaux.
Okay.
But you will find, as you begin to see the evidence put forth in this case, that there was not any animosity between Brandon and myself. I personally did not have any motivation to have harm come to Brandon. In fact, Brandon and I had a very friendly relationship all of the time that I have known him. I first met Brandon when he was marrying my niece, Melanie.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to, unless the defendant's
Hold
testifying.
on. Can I have the parties approach briefly? Can I have you approach briefly?
Lori's like, I'm tired. I'm not a lawyer. I give up. Now, any of you guys who were watching the proceedings today, didn't her advisory council get there late? Hold on.
Go ahead.
I first met Brandon when he was marrying my niece, Melanie. Melanie and I are very close because my sister, her mother, passed away when she was just 9 years old. So Melanie and I think of each other and love each other like a mother and daughter, even though we are aunt and niece. So our families remained close. Melanie and Brandon's
Let her
family
tell it.
and my family. In each other's lives, like everyday lives. We spent holidays together and shared.
Did she get the boot for the day, or is she able to come back? Is she done? Her private eye got there late. Yes, they were late. Her hair is nicotine. Isn't it awful?
In everyday life. I was there for Melanie and Brandon's wedding and for the birth of all 4 of their children. I was also very close to all 4 of their children. In this case, you will hear Brandon himself tell you that someone shot a gun at his car. You will learn in this testimony that Brandon was not hurt. You will learn that he wasn't even sure what had happened. But you will hear that Brandon immediately blamed me, which begs the question, was I an enemy to Brandon? That is news to me, and hopefully by the end of this trial, we will.
No, people just started dying and disappearing, and you were like the most likely person to talk to about it. And also, a car that was noticed is one that you have in your possession.
We'll all have some answers to that question. In this
Thank
case,
you,
will
Integrity.
learn
I
that
appreciate
Brandon had
that.
Called 911, and Gilbert Police did respond. You will learn that Brandon speaks of a puke green Jeep. And then he offers the officers a camo green color that he's speaking of on his phone. He says a green Jeep. Then you will hear the neighbor who says that it was a dark blue Jeep that was parked in front of the neighbor's house. You will learn that Brandon very quickly hired a private investigator to find out where I was living out of the state of Arizona so he could inform the police. You will see Brandon exchange email information with Detective Pillar, the case agent in this case, about my whereabouts and about the financial dealings of my niece, Melanie Boudreau. You will learn that Brandon was not particularly satisfied with the investigation that Gilbert Police was conducting, so he did his own investigation, hiring his own private investigator to follow his wife, Melanie Boudreau. You will find out that Brandon had access to the VIN number of a Jeep and gave it to the police. You will find out that after that event, he quickly changed his story from a camo green Jeep
I just
to
want
a
to say,
gray Jeep.
girl, have a seat.
You will then learn that Brandon continued to provide information he was personally finding out to Detective Pillar, the case agent in this case. You will learn that Detective Pillar and Brandon discussed through email how they can demonstrate Melanie's financial gain if Brandon were to have died around October 2nd, 2019. This is what a conspiracy looks like. Two people trying to set up another person for a crime. My niece, Melanie Boudreau, is named by the state as a co-conspirator. However, she has not been charged with the crime.
I'm going to object
but
and
I
have that
have.
struck as well, Your Honor.
Jury should disregard that statement. You're going to receive an instruction later that all persons that may be involved would not necessarily be charged or called as witnesses, and you'll follow those instructions later. Go ahead.
I was not living in Arizona at the time this alleged incident happened on October 2nd, 2019.
They're not giving her any
I was not
slack.
even aware such an event had taken place. I did
They are
have a
tired
close
of her.
relationship with my brother Alex, but I was not aware of his every move. Melanie also had a close relationship with Alex, but also was not aware of his location at all times. Brandon and Alex also had a good relationship until this accusation. They saw each other frequently at all of our family parties and get-togethers and would often be seen laughing and talking. Alex was a comedian who kept our family laughing. Alex passed away in December 2019 of natural causes, so he is not here to defend himself.
And I'm going to object again to that as well, since he's not party to this.
All right, I'll just remind the jury that what is said in opening statements is not evidence. It's not sworn testimony. Please proceed.
Although the state has alleged that there are several co-conspirators in this case, I am the only one being charged with a crime. So you will be the judge. You will hear and see evidence presented by the state. The state has, according to the law, 100% burden to prove to you
And I
that
object to
crime.
misstatement of the law in terms of 100%.
All right, again, this is a little bit bordering on argument, but the jury will receive the instructions on what is and what is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
The state has the burden to prove that a crime has been committed here and that I committed that crime. That is the way the law is written. I do not have to show any evidence or put up a defense. I do not have to testify. That is the law. The prosecutors from the state have to prove to you that I conspired, meaning made an agreement with my brother to murder Brandon. So you will decide. Right now, according to the law, I am innocent. I remain innocent until the state of Arizona and its prosecutors show you enough evidence to convince you that I had anything to do with this alleged crime. And I want you to look carefully and determine if this event was a crime at all. Did a shooting actually occur? Only Brandon claims that it did. Only Brandon names me and Alex. You will learn that Brandon himself did own a gun. You will learn that Brandon knew how to shoot his gun. You will learn that Brandon.
So she is trying to infer that maybe he made it up, that because no one else, is she saying no one else heard or saw it, that maybe, like, is that what she's trying to do? She stays pushing the envelope. Wow. Lori, really? Come on now. Don't go out. Try to go out. Girl. A mess. Lori, really? This is going to be embarrassing for you, sis. This is embarrassing. This is not cute at all. This is bad. Okay.
Brandon and Melanie were going through a divorce. And you will learn that even though Brandon is the one who actually filed for a divorce, he was blaming me for his divorce. You will learn that the information that the Gilbert Police Department and Detective Pillar, the case agent on this case, learned about me and my brother Alex was from Brandon Boudreaux. You will learn that Brandon and Detective Pillar communicated frequently and were on a first name basis. I want you to look closely at the motivation of Brandon and the Gilbert Police Department, because I'm the only one charged with the crime, and I need you to decipher what really happened here.
Well, you're the only one charged because your brother, like you said, is dead. And like it was you too, right? According to the person who's complaining, he believes it was a conspiracy of 2. And maybe it was a conspiracy of 3. So maybe she's dry snitching on Chad. But at the end of the day, Chad is on death row in damn Idaho. So they're not bothering him right now. He's not going anywhere and they're not going to bother him. So he's good. He's over there on death row waiting for the firing squad. And are you mad because they don't have Chad on there too?
Because I'm the only one who's being asked to pay a consequence for this
And
crime.
again, Your Honor, I'm going to ask to object and strike that.
Sustained. The jury in their instructions received an instruction that said the jury is not to consider a
This is like the worst opening statement in history. I mean, it's bad.
That will be in the final instructions as well. The jury's job is to determine whether or not the state has proved the case beyond a reasonable doubt or the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Go ahead, proceed.
She's objected like 5 times at least, right?
Where's
Where's the niece? I don't know if she's going to show up or not. That's going to be interesting. This just started yesterday, but girl, we've been busy. I don't know that I'm going to stream this, but we'll be watching and keeping up. So,
during this trial,
we'll see. We'll bring testimony. We'll bring testimony that's interesting. So we might look at Brandon like over the weekend and stuff. Maybe we can get caught up over the weekend, but I don't want to commit to streaming this because there's so much going on and we just took like 2 weeks. We just parked to the side of the road for 2 weeks so that we could be well informed about Maxwell Anderson, and we're just now getting off of that. So yeah, but we'll get caught up this weekend a little bit and see what's what, right? What about we're gonna find out.
Vallow Daybell. Well, who is the state? The state are the prosecutors.
I object to argument and relevance.
Sustained.
It's nonstop objection.
And you, the jury, are brought in to stand between the state and me.
And I'm going to object again to improper statement of the law, argument, and relevance.
A mess.
You are here to say if a crime has even been committed at all. You are here to say if I committed this very crime and if the state proved this to you beyond a reasonable doubt. If at the end of this trial you have reasonable
unindicted co-conspirator, maybe, huh? Okay, almost like a Wendy Adelson type situation. Not Wendy. Yes, Wendy. So yes, okay. And just like the prosecutor said today, yes, we have a verdict for Maxwell Anderson, but this case is not closed. I guess until they find her the entirety of her remains, they're going to keep this case open. But as far as like, I guess the chief person who's responsible for her demise, but I guess the case remains open as part of her body is still missing. I don't know, but Melanie, I could totally see if they think she was colluding and conspiring with Lori, then yes, she might just be an unindicted co-conspirator at this point, still under investigation.
doubt, then I remain innocent. If the state does not prove to you that I, 1, committed a crime, and 2, committed this crime, then I remain innocent.
Then I remain innocent. Then I remain innocent.
In this case, you will hear a lot of speculation. The definition of speculation is an idea or guess about something that is not known. During this trial, the state will try to convince you that I committed this crime by using speculation, innuendo, and insinuation. And the state is hoping that this will be enough. In this trial, you will in fact witness a power struggle between the state and the defendant.
Your Honor,
for what
I'm
a
gonna
fact
object to
really
argument.
is.
Sustain.
Because they want to convince you, the jury, that a fact is speculation, that a fact is innuendo, that a fact is insinuation, that they knew what I was thinking, what I was feeling, what I was planning, when they don't know it all. You, the jury, have all the power to decide what the facts are and what they're not. Not the state, not the judge, not law enforcement, you. So I implore you to listen carefully and decide for yourselves
I implore
if
you
the
to
state's
listen
theory really
carefully.
makes logical sense. What motivation did I have? What malice have I ever shown to anyone? What benefit would I gain? I am a person who loves all people and has no malice towards anyone, not even the prosecutors who wrongfully try to convict me.
Oh,
Your Honor,
Jesus.
I'm going to object again to relevance and to argument.
Okay, it's almost over. I was just like, girl, I can't, my
I am all about
ADD is
spreading love and
kicking
will
in.
continue to do so, even after this trial is complete, no matter the result. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, the state can call its
Okay.
first witness.
All right. And the first witness is going to be Brandon, but we'll get caught up over the weekend. Okay. Let's pivot real quick. Guys, you know, we've been paying close attention to this. Antoine is still on the loose. Hold on a second. Antoine and his aunt, who said she wasn't going to do any more posts, baby, she's still posting. But this is what, let's see. Oh, I didn't let it. Oh, hold on. Okay, we're gonna pivot to a update because they did. So you know he did that. He went on Instagram Live and was talking. He put up a. Hold on a second. Let's watch this. Let's get to this. Let's pivot real quick over here. Antoine, the guy with all of the chess pieces on his face, looking crazy. Antoine.
After 10 inmates broke. We do have new reporting tonight in the search for those 2 remaining fugitives after 10 inmates broke out of a New Orleans jail. Tonight, a new video.
Is that not your favorite video of 2025? Obviously, for the people of New Orleans, it's scary, but at the end of the day, seeing them scatter like just, oh my God, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. That is the video of 2025 that I will not forget. Okay.
Surfacing on social
look
media,
at that.
appearing to
Look
show
at them
one of
go.
those inmates who is
It's just an outbreak.
still on the run, now asking President Trump for help. Here's Faith Abube.
A mess. Okay.
Tonight, the eye-opening plea from a fugitive asking for help from President Trump and
look at that still photo.
Rappers. Authorities in New Orleans now studying several videos posted online, appearing to show one of the 2 remaining escapees in that brazen jailbreak more than 2 weeks ago.
My name is Antoine Massey. People that been through the system that know it's corrupt. Lil Wayne, Donald Trump, please, I'm asking for help.
In the video, Massey repeatedly denying the charges against him. Court records obtained by ABC News showing he pleaded guilty to a domestic battery charge in St. Tammany Parish back in March before being transferred to that Orleans Parish jail on multiple other charges. Law enforcement sources telling ABC News.
Do you see what I'm talking about? This footage out here in the world, baby, anywhere anything is happening. Don't even think about doing a crime out here because they're going to see you on TV. You're going to be put on TV or social media and you're going to look stupid.
Massey
Don't
has
do
a
it.
history of attempting escape as recently as 2019. And tonight, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office saying, quote, if the individual depicted in the video is indeed Antoine Massey, we strongly urge him to come forward and turn himself in to the proper authorities.
Okay.
And David, tonight the AP says authorities raided that home where they believe that video was filmed, but Massey was not there. David.
Faith Abube on this case again tonight. Faith.
Okay, Faith with the Kelly Green on. Yes. Okay. Hold on. So you remember the aunt was like, Antoine, call the Reverend. Hold on. Oh, am I giving free advertising? Okay, here we go.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
I'm on here today because
if you don't know who this lady is, this is Antoine's aunt. Okay, this is Auntie Antoine Massey aunt, and Minister Pastor Brown have a message for the community. Okay,
Pastor Brown have a message for all the families who may be dealing with some type of integration or some type of criminal injustice.
Did she say integration? I can't, I can't rewind it, but did she say integration?
He will be hosting a family meeting at his church this coming Monday. I believe he said as
if you're dealing with the foolishness of one of these fugitives, Reverend Brown is having a meeting down to the church so you can get some help if you need to.
6:30. And also, if you know anyone who may be having a situation with a child, a family member, or anything of that sort, because as we see, this situation is much deeper than just Antoine walking out of the jail. Okay, and the 10 boys walking out of the jail. This even goes for their parents and their family members if they want to come and support. And
but Auntie, this is the thing, sis. The one other fugitive that, first of all, your nephew's escaped from a situation at least 4 times. This is the 4th time that Antoine has taken off when he's not supposed to. On top of that, he's pled guilty to crimes. Coupled with the other person that's on the loose with him is very concerning because he is someone who has been found guilty of 2 murders, sis. And there are victims out here that are scared. And he's supposed to be in prison. He's going to prison. He was waiting for sentencing. The other guy that's missing is awaiting sentencing. Okay. No one's talking about him because Sir is not stupid. He's keeping quiet. Antoine is out here going on social media and trying to find new outfits to wear to run up his 007 Chucky account on Instagram.
We all get in on this together so that we can fight this system, because when it's more of us, the more power
Antoine
that we
said they
have,
let him
when
out.
we all come
Absolutely.
together. And people, we need to learn how to stop being crabs in a bucket.
I don't see how crabs in a bucket, ma'am. He's out. Him and a 2-time convicted murderer ran out the jail. There is nothing about being crabs in a bucket that us upstanding, law-abiding citizens have to feel bad about just because we share the diaspora. Okay. At the end of the day, if you're wrong, you're wrong. I can't hype you up just because we got a similar skin tone. I'm not going to do that. I can't. Wrong is wrong and right is right. You're supposed to have your ass in the jail. You need to have your ass in the jail, right? Okay. A mess.
And pulling each other down in times of need and come together as one unit, because it is so much strength in one unit. But I'm about to call Pastor Brown because I told him I'm not about to keep getting beat up.
If somebody went to her business and busted down the door, she would be calling for all kinds of situations, right? But it's her nephew and it's all kinds of injustice and corruption and all kinds of everything.
By myself. Let him explain. And I also wanted Minister Corey to come on
Brown
here,
for us,
and
y'all.
Mr. Jock, I meant to say, to come on here and explain his position and what it is that he do. But at the same time, he's in important meetings right now. But Pastor Brown can, clear some things up himself. Hold on, y'all. Give me a
Minister
second.
Jock?
Hello? Yes. Okay, now I got the video recorded going, and I want you to tell the world what it is that you have going on pertaining to the meeting that you want to hold at your church this coming Monday.
Why does she have his phone number up? Maybe he wanted, I think she posted his phone number last time. But clearly he's not in your contact list.
Here you go ahead on and speak.
Yes, good evening, everybody. This is Pastor Robert Brown.
Not that she got with some editing. Okay. Okay, editing.
In the great city of New Orleans, Louisiana, and I am the pastor of one of the greatest churches in this nation. It's called the Avenue Baptist Church. One Monday out of the month, we hold a community unity meeting. Basically, we're standing with the Massey family in relation to Antoine, pleading with him to actually turn himself in because he had family members, his mother, his aunt, and community.
He
And
got
everybody
family
was praying for
members.
him because we're concerned about safety and well-being.
You think he sounds like
With
Nesto?
that being said, that's been our cry ever since this jailbreak happened. We've been praying and wanting him to turn himself in.
I'm not saying it
But
because
since he put out that
y'all
clip
said
that
it,
he
but that's
did
okay.
about what was actually going on with him inside of the system, the dynamics, and we've been letting the media know that, the dynamics of everything have dramatically changed. So basically, we want him to know that we heard his cry. I told the authorities, and I also told the media, it was a shame that this young man,
Let me season my shit. Let me go ahead and get my dinner ready. Okay, I'm with you on that one.
to actually be heard. There's a lot of things that he said that we legitimately believe and that we're actually looking into because we believe that he's being railroaded. And basically,
Look, but the bottom line is he could have been railroaded sitting nicely in his jail cell and waited for it to be adjudicated and waited to get his day in court or have the appropriate lawyer file papers. Where were you? Where were you? And where were you, sis, when he was sitting in St. Tammany or sitting in Orleans Parish and nobody was doing anything? Meanwhile, now that he's on the loose, y'all got all kinds of ideas and all kinds of community unity meetings and all kinds of everything going on that you want to address the issue, but it took him walking out the jail. Why wasn't this done before? Doing the wrong thing is not the way to right a wrong. If he feels he's been wronged, you don't do the wrong thing and think that you're going. Okay, can I just say, I said it like in reverse, but two wrongs don't make a right. Okay. Do you remember that one? Two wrongs don't make a right. And you wrong for leaving the jail. You wrong for scattering. You wrong for tearing down that commode. You wrong for going through that wall. You were wrong for jumping off the damn out the back door. You were wrong for getting on Instagram. And then got your ass back on Instagram. Y'all, he went back on Instagram. Okay, hold on. Let me let the man talk and then I'm gonna find the other posts. Okay.
we're saying is that we're not trying to defend him from any criminal charges that he may be having that he have to deal with the court system. We understand that part.
He understands that part. Okay, that
made
part.
it known that the guy that the picture of how they was trying to portray him, he made it known, I'm not that guy. And all of the stuff that he brought out and all he was trying to do, he's crying out for help, and he's not trying to run from his charges. He wants justice. So what we're doing on Monday is that we're asking for anybody in the Massey family, anybody in our community in the city of New Orleans, we need you to come and be a part of this move. We want you to know if you have a loved one that's incarcerated in the city of New Orleans and they're being railroaded, we want you to come and tell their story because it's time for us to support them from the perspective of trying to help them to make sure that they're getting justice, and not being railroaded. So basically, that's what's going to be going on Monday night, because we want Antoine to know that he have family, he have community, he have ministry, he have a lot of people that's willing to stand with him from the perspective of him getting justice. But we need him also to turn himself in.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
And yes,
Okay.
Pastor Brown, that was very much well said. So what about the family members of the other 10 boys that's also involved in this? We want you guys to also know too that if you feel that you want to be part of this movement, to also come out.
Correct. Anybody, all of those guys, if you feel like, if you got family members out there, even the other guy that they're looking for, his family can come. It's time for us to come together as a community and embrace one another and actually.
The family of the other guy is probably like, we're not going to jail. You know how many people they have rounded up to go to jail? Let me see what they say. They have rounded people up to go to jail. They have arrested folks, okay? Authorities are investigating the Instagram photo showing the man who identifies himself as Antoine Massey, a fugitive. Still, at least the other guy, the murderer, the convicted murderer, is keeping a low profile, right? New Orleans authorities announced Thursday they are investigating another social media post the second week in showing a man identified himself as Antoine Massey, a fugitive still on the lam after escaping more than 2 weeks ago from a New Orleans jail. The latest Instagram post, which appears to have been published on Wednesday, shows a man standing in front of a blue car, okay, who says Antoine Massey and has the same distinctive facial tattoos. Is that, where am I? Girl, I thought I had another Instagram pulled up. I do. Okay. Is this the one? Girl, I don't know if this is his page or not, but there's another page, living free like I supposed to be. Okay? He wants them to come for him. I don't know who's giving this dude outfits. Somebody gave this dude some outfits to wear. I don't know what's going on. Okay? And when was this one from? Is this might not be the page. We're gonna see. This can't be the page, but it's got the content on it. Someone took this is the page, I think. Okay. Is this it? This is the post. I don't know if this is I'm innocent. My name is Antoine Massey. I'm innocent. Girl, he's looking for trouble. They're gonna take this as you're trying to play up in our face, and they're gonna keep quiet, and they're gonna just keep checking every IP. They're just gonna keep checking every IP. Look, and he's tagging Fox 8 NOLA, WDSU, Louisiana. What is that? Girl, a T site. Wait, artist and advertisement. Okay. He's doing too much. He's playing. Okay. Let's finish this.
Show our young brothers that they do have people out here
that
care about them in spite of their situation. They have to deal with that part. We understand that, and we want the public to know. We ain't trying to do nothing to defend them, but we're trying to do something.
Is everyone there? Maybe they have hearing problems, Ebony.
Based upon the things that Antoine
Sir, he's yelling.
Absolutely.
Get a microphone.
Absolutely. And I'm going to clarify
Get a
even more.
microphone.
We are not upholding the fact of what they did. They are consequences.
We are not upholding the fact of what they did.
For your actions. And if you commit a crime, you have to face the penalties for that crime. We get it. We just want to.
You are absolutely. We're not hiding that. We don't want nobody to think we trying to get them out of something that they may possibly have to pay a price for. We don't know that. They would have to deal with that to the court. We just don't want them.
You're gonna have to deal with that to the court. Okay.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Whoever is providing Jordans, matching sets, look at this. Whoever is providing Houston Rockets, okay, those basketball shorts are not cheap. I don't know those specific basketball shorts, but let me tell you, I went to the store at Chapel Hill and bought some basketball shorts for my husband. I had no idea basketball shorts cost like that. Girl, they were almost $200. I was in shock. So that could be, I don't know, that could be a swap meet outfit, or that could be an outfit that costs a little bit of coin. He got a hat, fresh shirt, fresh basketball shorts, and some very fresh sneakers on. Okay. Somebody put about $500-$600 on him, and he has on jewelry. Make it make sense. Somebody's going to jail.
That's it.
Okay, Pastor Brown. Okay, go ahead.
I need Antoine, if this message gets to him,
Girl, those Chapel Hill shorts were like $198. And girl, the t-shirt, I'm not even gonna talk about that. I didn't know.
She was in too much pain. We need him to know that she's in pain.
But I had to get
need
it.
him to understand your message was heard. And help is in place for you.
Yes.
Your message was heard. And help is in place for you. But we need you to also work with us, young brother. I don't know what your process is, but all we need you to do is get yourself back in there, and you're going to see the kind of support that the Lord have stirred up on your behalf.
Amen.
Okay.
And ain't no help like the help of the Lord, baby. I don't care about no judge, no lawyers, no nothing. Ain't no help like the Lord.
You better tell it.
Yes.
I don't care who nobody is. I discovered from my own life that he's a merciful God. If you cry out for mercy from him, he's going to show you some kind of mercy through justice.
Yeah.
Okay, Antoine is still missing, guys. Okay, look, I'm going to come back later. Let me handle some business. I was gone for graduation today. And of course, no sooner do we sit down good, they did the verdict. So we talked about that. We talked a little bit about Nesto. I noticed something on the docket, but I didn't get a response regarding the document to support, like, what is that on the docket? But I did send a request to see if I could find out, but I don't know if I'll know. If I did not get anything, I'm trying to refresh my mail now and see, did I get any other mail? Did I get some more mail? Did sis get more mail? Let me see. I'm trying to refresh. View. Okay. Oh, there we go. Sync. I'm like, where is my sync? It's syncing now. We'll see. Did I get a response? No, I did not. So maybe I won't see anything until Monday, and then Monday we'll already know our answer. But anywho, there was something on there about a conflict. It may be a nothing burger. Okay. All this yelling, girl. Why do we have to yell? Are they finished? Because I'm just like, gosh, is this like a whole podcast that they're doing? She said she wasn't going to talk anymore.
This young man told them, I'm not that.
He would not have to yell. If he had an adequate microphone, he wouldn't feel the need to yell. Why does Pasto look like my step uncle? Ooh.
That same guy, and I'm willing to face whatever it is I need to face.
Oh, because that's you?
They ain't telling y'all the whole story. That's the part that's stirring up what we're dealing with right now.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
okay, Pastor Brown. Well, if there's
Harmon,
anything else that you want to say before we end this call?
He done said everything.
We're just praying that people who are hearing this message, and you have people in the city of New Orleans, we need them to be at Ray Avenue Baptist Church this coming Monday at 6:30 p.m.
Give them the address, Pastor Brown.
4712 Ray Avenue. All roads lead to 4712 Ray Avenue this coming Monday. And if you just want to get a real blessing, you might want to show up at Sunday at 8:15.
Amen. Okay, but before we leave, Pastor Brown, I just want you to just tell them that you know Antoine personally. This ain't nobody who I just found to try to get some help from. Explain that you was in my brother's life, you was in Antoine's life. You know all of them. You know Rabbit, you know Neil, you know all of them.
They don't understand. You and I, we have family that's intermingled from the community that we actually grew up with. We almost we cousins to a major degree.
Yes.
We actually do this. But actually, a funeralized.
I would have just kept it real basic. I mean, people don't need to know all your business. Are you talking to me? Oh, okay.
Antoine, I was there for I even knew Antoine one of the times he was out.
This went left real quick.
Yes.
What? Sometimes it's better to just stay focused on the issues. The fact that they have a personal relationship or he knows his people personally, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a bit much. for the video.
Most of us fail because when
Okay.
Antoine.
So we've seen her
Antoine.
post. Okay.
I'm sitting here.
Okay.
Hey, you guys. I just came on here just to let you guys know that I appreciate.
She came on there to say she wasn't gonna be posting anymore.
Hey, y'all. Look, I'm gonna make this.
Auntie
video
been on here
quick
every
because y'all
day.
know I'm long-winded and I can do this all day long. Hey, y'all.
She is enjoying her little social media situation. Okay, she's enjoying that. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. This was I'm glad we got a chance to get caught up. I'm gonna come back later and we'll do some Nesto, okay? Okay, yelling. Girl, the yelling runs in the family, all the folks, okay? Okay. If you're on the replay, go ahead and make sure to hit the thumbs up. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe so you can get notifications. Hit the thumbs up. Okay, Auntie. Yes. Auntie is doing family work, and I get it. We're not gonna begrudge her handling business on behalf of her sister. If my sister needed me to be a mouthpiece, I would probably do it as long as I'm not out here looking stupid. So I get it, but sis, relax a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Antoine is out there doing what he wants to do as a grown 30-something-year-old man who has broken the law and put himself into a position to be being looked for by the FBI, the marshals, the damn police, the sheriffs, everybody and their mother. He's a wanted man. Okay. Just relax. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to just accept what is. You got somebody in your family who is going to do the fool every time they get a chance. Okay. And that's unfortunate. And I know that gets y'all's blood pressure up. But at the end of the day, he is grown. This is a father with a 18-year-old and a 3-year-old. He's a grown ass man. So I'm sorry. I don't really have a lot of sympathy because he's also convicted of sex crimes. And as a woman, clear your name. And then clear your name, sir. Clear your name. And he has enough people out here advocating for him, but the women at large don't need to be concerned with a guy like him. If you're going to do the right thing, do the right thing. And the right thing would have been keep your ass in jail like you were supposed to be and not drag everybody else with you. And now you got people who are now in legal problems because they wanted to help people who probably made them feel like they had no choice but to help them. But now they're going to have bills. They have to get lawyers. They're going to have stuff on their record. It can put their jobs in jeopardy. There are several, mostly women out here that are putting their jobs, benefits, housing, relationships, all kinds of stuff in jeopardy because they're helping people who did not want to follow the rules. Why was there a jail full of people and only 10 people escaped? Because the other people were like, fuck no. You know what I mean? I would love to know if there were other inmates that became aware that there was a gaping hole in that time block and chose to not leave. Not that they deserve a cookie because they did the right thing, but I would love to, which they're never going to talk, but clearly there were people that knew something happened and didn't bother to you know what? I'm just gonna, y'all be back in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Like they already knew. Exactly. Stupid. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all go. This was fun. Ooh, Lambo. Girl. Okay, Lambo. Anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. I will see you guys later on this evening. Okay. Let me see if I can hold on. Okay. I'll see you guys later on this evening. Bye, guys.